When I'm not convincing myself that playing Zelda 8 hours a day is research, because I might make a video on the music about it sometime, I like to answer questions and comments that I get off YouTube, so let's get to it. I didn't get the dominant 7 part. I see a lot of chord progressions in a certain key that have 7 chords that aren't on the 5th. Let's talk about how to spice up any chord progression, okay? So dominant 7 chords, like for example in the key of C, the dominant chord would be G7, G dominant 7, okay? And just real quick recap, that chord exists to bring you back home to C. See how it nicely resolves to C. Okay, and that chord is diatonic, which means that it has all notes in the key of C, but a lot of times you might see dominant 7 chords that aren't on the 5 chord, okay? So again, C, D, E, F, G, so G is the 5th note in the key of C. In any key, the 5th note is where the dominant 7 chord is most common. That's where you can just like populate it from notes just inside of that key. But like this question said, you might see chord progressions that have dominant 7 chords on a different note, okay? So I think the best way to really hammer this home is to always think of, you can use a dominant 7 chord in any chord progression to point you to the next chord. So we're gonna kind of piggyback off of a lesson I did last week, where we take a very common chord progression, we'll do it in the key of C this time, C, A minor, G, F major. Okay, so a 1, 6, 5, 4 in the key of C. C is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C, D, E, F, G, A. A is minor is 6, G is 5, and F is 4, okay? So we can actually add dominant 7 chords to point to each one of those next chords by finding what it is the 5th of. So in the spirit of this question, you're right. It's like I've seen dominant 7 chords in a key that don't always point back to C, because you can put a dominant 7 chord in any position to make it point to any of the next chords, all right? Let's just take that first example of C to A minor. Well, let's find a 5 of A to point it there. So A, B, C, D, E. We can put E dominant 7 in between. So instead of C to A minor, we go C. See how I went C, E7, A minor. And it sounded fine, right? Even though if we look at the notes in an E7, we have an E, a B, a D, and a G sharp. That G sharp isn't in the key, but it exists to point us to A. Again, because C has a G in it, E7 has a G sharp in it, G, G sharp, A. It leads your ear to the next chord, okay? So you can do that for any chord in any progression, and you'll always be able to get away with it, right? So C, E7, A minor. Now remember, the next chord in the progression is going to be G, G, A, B, C, D. D7 is also not in this key, A minor. I just snuck that D7 in there real quick to point me to G. Then the next chord would be a F. What's F? G, A, B flat, C. So now I can go G, C, F. And then F, G7, C. Okay, so here's the difference. I'll do both of them. Just a regular 1, 6, 5, 4 in C, C, A minor, G, F. I can point every one of these chords to the next chord. C, E7A, D7G, C7F, G7C. Okay, so always think about like, this is an interesting thing, because now I have this harmonic function going on where I'm introducing all new chords, and it may seem like I'm just pulling chords out of thin air, but the spirit of this question is like, yeah, it's not the 5th of the key, but you can go outside the key, take the 5th of any chord, bring it back in, and I think you might be kind of surprised at how good that sounds. And it seems like, it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many chords, but really that's just 4 chords. And then a dominant 7 to point you to the next chord no matter what it is. Thanks, Sean. Learning new things with every lesson. That Phoenix audio in-ear monitoring rig may just be the solution I've been looking for. Thought this was a good time to bring up this comment because I did a sponsored video with Phoenix Pro. They make awesome wireless stuff. I did that last month, and they're having a big sale, Memorial Day weekend sale. So I will link you because I have an affiliate for that in the description. So if you're looking for cool wireless gear, in-ear monitoring gear, now would be the time to do it because it's very, very affordable. The last video I did was on the PTM33, which is a 4-channel, 4 independent mix audio in-ear system. And another one of the questions I got from that was like, what does that even mean to like set up like an independent mix? So if you look at the back of this, there are 4 different inputs and output sections on this because you can hook up 4 body packs. They also come with body packs that you can just plug your own in-ear monitors or the provided in-ear monitors with. Because if you're playing in a band, you might want a different mix than is going through the mains, okay? So if you've ever seen a mixer and you've seen like an auxiliary send or output, a lot of times what they'll do is you can have like an aux 1 send mixed where the vocal is way louder than everything else of the band, and you can send that to the vocalist, right? Because they kind of want to hear more me, like a more me mix or something like that is what I've heard a lot of people refer to that as. Same with the guitar player. I would always rather hear myself louder in the mix, so you can send aux 2 from a mixer and then just have that be an independent mix. Basically, an aux send is going to be just kind of like an own independent mix that doesn't go to the main outputs, right? So the audience isn't hearing that mix, it's hearing an auxiliary mix, which you can send into the ins here to the unit, right? The cool thing about this is it's super inexpensive. It comes with 4 different channels. And the interesting thing is you can actually daisy chain the main mix out. This is a mono box, right? They have a stereo one that is a little bit more if you want something a little bit more professional. But I like this for any kind of band because it's super easy to use. And what you do is like you would send your aux 1 mix in, and then there's actually 2 inputs. It's like a dual mono input thing. So you have the main mix, and then just more of whatever channel you want to hear in it. And then you can daisy chain that going through the loop out into the in of the next one, out and in. I'll put a little diagram if you're interested in that too. But eventually you get out, and then you can feed that to like the floor monitors of just the main mix. But then you have 4 different channels that are getting potentially 4 different auxiliary mixes. And again, the main output is always going to link up with whichever body pack you sync whichever channel to. So I think that these are really underrated boxes, and especially because now they're more affordable than ever to get, specifically with that Memorial Day sale going on. So if you do play in a band, even just as an acoustic duo, it would always help me because I would find myself, most of my performing has been an acoustic duo, I would always find myself kind of playing harder than I wanted just because self-monitoring through like a PA is not an ideal situation. So again, I've been working with Phoenix Pro for a long time. They've got a bunch of wireless solutions as far as mics and stuff too, because I'm just a huge believer in wireless. You'll see some more wireless videos coming on here in a second. But again, shout out to Phoenix Pro. Thank you for watching that. And if you guys are interested, check the affiliate link in the description. You are teaching do not vibrate. I'm going to say this is a salty comment. I wonder if it actually meant like don't put vibrato on it when you're teaching, which is funny. It's like once you learn vibrato, it's so hard not to hit it. It's like here's the A minor pentatonic. It's so hard to do that because I always want to be like if you have vibrato in your fingertips, you got to use it. So if it is about vibrato, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. If it's just about me just like vibrating, it's because I'm always on 20 ounces of cold brew at least twice a day. And I'll probably be vibrating until my kidneys finally give out. And then we'll see what happens then. I'm not prepared for that contingency plan quite yet. Thanks for the electric wind instrument concert. Sounds pretty good too. Man, this video is great. It's so funny. It's like, I feel my funniest videos never get any views. I did an electric wind instrument sax off with my friend Lucy. And I thought I performed pretty well in the sax off, and I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to get people to watch that because, you know, sometimes you just have a sax off performance that you're really proud of, and I was very proud of how I handled myself in that electric wind instrument concert environment. So I just kind of wanted to bring some more shine to that incredible performance because clearly I won, but people in the comments didn't seem to agree with me in that moment, but clearly I think I won that. For listening homework, we have a new Queens of the Stone Age track. How awesome is that? One of my favorite bands of all time. I've definitely crossed that bridge where, you separate the art from the artist type thing, and I'm a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan, right? I think there was like some controversy several years ago. I don't even remember it anymore, so I'm just gonna go ahead and love one of my favorite bands of all time, and I'm stoked that they're coming out with new music. So I'm going to link you to the new Queens of Stone Age song because I'm stoked for that, like one of the last great remaining like rock bands. So big fan. I think it sounds great. I'm excited for the new stuff. Like I said, check out the Phoenix Pro link if you guys are interested in some wireless gear. You won't regret it. Great stuff. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, or the website, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.